Hi everyone, welcome to episode 5 of Ferris U. We're going to be discussing our submittal review agent today. And as civil engineers working in the construction space, submittals are something that we get all the time. Many times we get similar types of submittal reviews for multiple types of projects, and the checks that we're doing are very similar. It's just the data changes that we're checking against. So I wanted to show you today how we could automate this process here in Ferris and try to scale your engineering logic and judgment. So without further ado, we can go here to launch agents. We'll go to our submittal reviewer agent, and here we allow the engineer to submit a single document and then put in a prompt, which is a listed number of tasks that we want it to complete. These are typically the logic checks and the specified outcome that we're looking for. We could also do that with 2 documents with the document comparison tool. And the first example that we could do here is like a concrete submittal review. So we have a concrete data sheet here, and we have a drawing set. And let's say we want to check to make sure that the minimum 28-day compressive strength is met. We can go ahead and put a prompt in to that effect saying, hey, go ahead, make sure that 28-day compressive strength is met or exceeded in the concrete mixed design, and checking that against the compressive strength specified in the drawings. So we'll go ahead and we'll analyze this document. And Ferris should pull up for us a response. So here it's telling us that the mixed design is specifying 6,000 psi. The drawings are specifying 4,000 psi. It's also telling us a list of admixtures and plasticizers that are added as well, so you have an understanding of, okay, what kind of logic checks do we need to do? And what we like to call this here, that initial prompt that we sent in, as the recipe. So you can now have a standardized way of checking and verifying these types of submittal reviews, and this is standardized the QA/QC process. And a lot of firms would like this, having a standard operating procedure for how your submittals get reviewed increases the quality of the review throughout your organization. So now you don't have engineers reviewing these documents in different ways. You've got a standardized template and a way that you want all of these documents reviewed. So this is the concrete submittal that we can go ahead here. And going back to how we scaling our logic and our judgment, we are able to have the knowledge and the experience to say, hey, these are the things that we want to check for this concrete submittal review. But now instead of having to sit down and manually review 100 of these documents, at the press of a finger, you can go ahead now and take that recipe that you've created with your knowledge and judgment and scale that across a number of different submittal reviews, which I think is really advantageous. So the second type of submittal review that we can look at are building department questions or RFIs that we receive. And as engineers, we get these all the time, trying to communicate with other stakeholders on the project. Hey, this is what our intentions are. This is what we mean. So we'll go ahead here into the event structures drawing. We'll pull up 5 questions that are there, and then we'll go ahead and we'll ask it to answer these questions where explicitly stated, and to provide some sort of explanation for these questions and how they were answered. So again, we're asking it to explicitly state the answers. So if there's any sort of logic checks, meaning you have to go through one detail, read a table, we're hoping that Ferris tells us, hey, this is outside of the explicitly stated responses. And we're going to prompt Ferris to tell us, hey, an engineer should go into this and look into these types of documents and these types of questions. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to try to like hopefully get you a correct answer, and then you have to go back and check each question. We want to tell you explicitly what we can answer with 100% confidence, and then the ones that we can't, we want to send the user back into the documents to find the answer themselves. We would rather be 100% confident on 50% of the answers and have the user go back in and check 50% of the answers, instead of being probably right on 80% and then not knowing 20%. But the user has to go back in and check 100% of the questions that are asked. There's no value add in that situation. If the user has to go back in and still perform the task to its fullest extent, there's no value add. It's actually a negative value add because we're not adding any clarity to the process. So here, question 1, we're asking for the wind speed. It's telling us 170 miles per hour, which is correct. For the second one, the minimum concrete strength is 4,000, which is correct. The welding inspection requirements, it goes through the general notes and summarizes for us what is spec'd out in those welding inspection requirements. For number 4, uh, what is the tension development length required at the haunch slab detail? Well, as you see, this is where it says not explicitly stated, and this is correct because, again, you have to go through multiple details, multiple drawings, and multiple conditions, and there's a lot of variables that go into play when you are trying to read through that tension development table that might not be explicitly stated in details. And here we're telling the engineer, hey, you should go back and look at this for yourself. You should not rely on Ferris for an answer here. This is what we want to do. And then the last one here is giving us the proper bar sizing for this CMU opening. So these are the types of submittal reviews that you can go ahead and do. Again, saving your prompts and having these prompts handy so that way you're seeing multiple types of submittals that you need to review, and all that you need to change is the data that you're checking against, and you'll craft that prompt so you know exactly the logic checks and things you want to be looking for within these submittal reviews. And engineers have found this is a great way to automate and scale their knowledge and their judgment when they're going through these very tedious submittal reviews, which suck up a lot of bandwidth throughout an engineer's daily activities, and allows engineers now to go ahead and design more, value engineer more, and just not be bogged down in this constant decision fatigue that I find the industry is having a real problem with. So hopefully you're able to go ahead and use this tool and get a lot of value in it. Any sort of submittal review that you have, this will be a really good agent to go and use it against. So I say go ahead, give it a shot. The prompting might take some time to find like a really solid prompt that will work for the exact submittal review that you're looking for. But as you start working through this over time, the prompts will get better and it'll help Ferris get you the answers and the reviews that you're looking for. So thank you very much. I hope you find this very useful and very valuable. I know engineers have, and hopefully you'll be one of them in the future. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate you listening to episode 5 of Ferris University.